And once everything was dialed in, this is what I was aiming for from the start. A consistent, fine mist, evenly covering plants from one end to the other. Watering over 100 plants shouldn't take more than an hour, so I set up a DIY irrigation system to fix that. But when I finally turned it on, this is what I got. This is what we call our leaf alley. There are over 100 plants here, some in the ground, some in pots, and others placed on racks that go up to 3 tiers. And watering everything manually takes time. More than an hour, every single cycle. And realistically, we don't always have that kind of time. There are days when we skip, not because we want to, but because of work, other priorities, and just daily life getting in the way. Sometimes even 2 days. And when that happens, the plants start to feel it. Some of them didn't make it. For years, we've been relying on a garden hose. It works, but it's very manual. You go plant by plant, adjusting pressure, aiming the water, and making sure each one gets enough. And with this many plants, it's easy to miss some, and just as easy to overwater others. On top of that, because you're controlling everything by hand, you also tend to use more water than you realize. So the goal was simple. I wanted to be able to turn one valve and have everything water at the same time. Faster, more consistent, and with less effort. So I installed a mist irrigation kit as the base of the system. I ordered it online for 469 pesos. Before placing the order, I noticed that there were several options available. You could choose between 5, 10, 20, all the way up to 30 meters of microtubing. So the first thing I did was measure the entire leaf alley from the faucet all the way to the last plant I wanted to reach. And based on that measurement, I decided to go with a 30-meter system. When the package arrived, this is everything that came with it. You get 30 meters of microtubing, 20 mist nozzles, 30 sprinkler nozzles, T-connectors for each nozzle, straight connectors, ground stakes, end plugs, a faucet quick disconnect splitter with built-in valves, and plumber's tape. So on paper, it really looks like a complete system. But one important detail here is the tubing itself. This uses what's called a 4x7 microtubing. That means the inner diameter is 4 millimeters and the outer diameter is 7 millimeters. And that inner diameter, the 4 millimeters, is what actually determines how much water can pass through. At the time, I didn't fully think about how much that would matter. Meanwhile, I already knew I would need to improvise in some areas. For instance, the kit only had very limited end plugs, just one to be exact. I had to come up with my own way of terminating some of the lines. So I used chopsticks and zip ties. Not exactly part of the kit, but hey, it worked. Before installing anything in the garden, I wanted to understand how the nozzles actually behave. So I brought some key pieces, connected the microtubing to the faucet, and tested both the sprinkler and mist nozzles. The sprinkler nozzles spread water over a wide area as a drizzle, but most of that water just scattered everywhere. The mist nozzles were much more controlled. They produced finer droplets and a more even distribution. So even from that simple test, it was clear that the mist nozzles were the better choice as far as my situation went. At least that was the expectation, because once I started with the actual setup, another problem showed up. After installing just a few mist nozzles, around 5 of them, connected along roughly a 6-meter microtubing line directly from the faucet, I already started noticing the pressure drop. The farther the water had to travel, the weaker the output became. The first few nozzles were working fine, but the ones farther down the line were noticeably weaker. Some were misting, others were already starting to drip. So at that point, I paused, because clearly something wasn't right. Instead of continuing the build, I stepped back and did some research. I wanted to understand why the pressure was already dropping, even with just a few nozzles installed. And that's when everything started to make sense. First, the tubing itself. That 4mm inner diameter of the 4x7 microtubing is quite small. So as water travels through it, friction builds up quickly, especially over longer distances. Second, the layout of my system. The microtubing wasn't just running horizontally from the faucet. From the faucet, the water had to travel about 3 meters vertically upward first, before continuing laterally across the garden frame where the nozzles were installed. So now, you have 3 things happening at the same time: a narrow passage for water, friction building up over distance, and gravity working against the flow. And when you combine all of those, pressure drops much faster than expected. Which explains why even at just 5 nozzles, I was already seeing weak output at the far end. While I was in the middle of figuring things out, one of my neighbors walked by and suggested something. He told me to install valves on every single branch, so that if pressure becomes an issue, I can just shut off a few branches and concentrate the pressure on the rest. I told him I'd think about it, but at that time, I wasn't convinced it was necessary. Because in a typical house, half-inch PVC pipes carry water across multiple floors without issue. So I felt the problem wasn't about controlling branches. It was about how the water was being delivered. So instead of trying to manage pressure, I focused on fixing the root cause. I built a half-inch PVC backbone to carry the main flow, and then branched out from there using the microtubing. This part of the project started on a Sunday, when most local hardware stores were closed. But I was too eager to start the PVC upgrade, so I had no choice but to go to Wilcon Depot. Here's exactly what I bought there. That brought the total to 1,142 pesos and 25 cents. At that point, I didn't buy everything yet, because I thought I already had extra parts at home. I keep them all in one container. But when I got home and checked that container, I realized I was still missing several parts. And because it was already too late to go back to Wilcon, I decided to just work with what I had for that day. So I started building the first few meters of the PVC backbone, right from the faucet line. I used a combination of PVC pipes cut to the proper length, my orbital sander for deburring rough, jagged edges, PVC adhesive, straight and elbow joints. To secure the pipes in place against the concrete wall, I used clamps, then transitioned to zip ties once I reached the fence area. My approach was to build in sections and test as I go, because once PVC is glued using cement, that connection becomes permanent. To test each section, I needed to temporarily seal the end of the pipe. That's why I needed end caps, not for the final system, but for testing each segment. But at that time, I didn't have any yet. I thought I had some stored in my container, but I was wrong. So I improvised. I folded plastic several times, wrapped it over the pipe opening, and secured it tightly using rubber bands. I thought it would hold, but when I opened the faucet, the pressure tore right through it. That moment made it very clear I needed proper end caps. So the next day, I went to a local hardware store and bought everything I actually needed. Here's the full breakdown. That second hardware run cost me 1,585 pesos. From there, I continued building the backbone properly, section by section, testing each one before moving forward. And that approach actually saved me. There was a joint I thought I had already cemented, but I didn't. When I tested the system, the pressure popped the elbow right off. Good thing I caught that early, because if that happened after everything was completed, it would have been much harder to fix. During the build, I also ran into a physical constraint. There was a section of the garden net frame where the net itself was too long. It had to be overlapped and tucked underneath the frame and secured with zip ties, which made it impossible to pass a rigid PVC pipe through that space, unless I detached the net first, which would mean extra time and effort. So instead of forcing it, I adjusted. I cut a piece of half-inch garden hose to the exact length I needed. Because it's flexible, I was able to route it through that tight section without disturbing the frame. Then I used the proper connectors to transition from PVC to the garden hose, and then back to PVC again. It's a small workaround, but it solved the problem cleanly. Eventually, the backbone came together, a clean main line feeding into 6 separate branches. And from each branch, the microtubing distributes water to the mist nozzles. Each line follows a simple structure: PVC pipe, to microtubing, to a T-connector, then to the mist nozzle. Installing the microtubing took some patience. It's stiff straight out of the box, so I left it under the sun for a few minutes to soften it. That made it much easier to push into the connectors without damaging anything. Then came the fine-tuning. Because even with the improved backbone, water still behaves the same way. It always takes the path of least resistance. That means the first few nozzles in any line will naturally release more water. And if they release too much, the nozzles farther down the line get less pressure. So instead of treating all nozzles equally, I adjusted them with intention. I turned the first few nozzles closer to a fine mist, more clockwise. Not to shut them off, but just enough to slightly restrict the flow. What that does is it slows down how much water exits early in the line, which allows more pressure to continue traveling toward the remaining nozzles. So instead of having strong mist at the beginning and weak output at the end, you get a more balanced distribution across the entire branch. Now in my setup, with only about 5 nozzles per branch, this wasn't critical. But in longer lines, this makes a big difference. Oh, and I did end up installing valves, but not for the reason my neighbor suggested. One intentional use was for the front branch where my mom's plants are. Since there are only a few plants there, they don't need as much misting time. So I can shut that branch off early while the rest of the system continues. And the other valves were actually a bonus. The faucet splitter that came with the kit already had built-in valves. So without planning for it, I already had some level of control built into the system. So in the end, I didn't rely on valves to fix pressure issues, but I did use them where they actually made sense. And once everything was dialed in, this is what I was aiming for from the start. A consistent, fine mist, evenly covering plants from one end to the other. And one thing I didn't expect is how gentle that mist actually is. Because the droplets are so fine, when they land on the soil, they don't disturb it. They don't dig into the surface or cause splashing. Compared to a garden hose or even rain, where heavier droplets hit hard and can displace soil, the mist just settles quietly. What used to take more than an hour now takes about 10 minutes. And more importantly, it's consistent. No missed plants, no overwatering certain areas, no depending on whether I have time that day or not. There are still trade-offs. When the wind picks up, the mist can drift, but it still reaches nearby plants. And once the wind settles, everything goes back to normal. Another unexpected benefit is that the whole area feels cooler when the system is running. Now, in terms of total cost, the mist irrigation kit was 469 pesos. The Wilcon Depot run was 1,142 pesos and 25 cents. The local hardware run was 1,585 pesos. So all in, the entire system cost me 3,196 pesos and 25 cents. At this point, the system is already fully functional. But I'm not stopping there. I already bought a timer for 649 pesos. I just haven't installed it yet. Once that's in place, the system will run automatically, on schedule, without needing me to manually open the valve. And for the finishing touches, I'll have Mang Ray paint all the PVC pipes using a gray epoxy primer. So instead of standing out, everything blends in with the garden net frame and the perimeter fence. So functionally, the system is already doing its job. But what's next is making it smarter and making it cleaner.